What's up, duelists? RBET Rulers 2024 just concluded. And let me tell you, this tournament was incredible. This was a tournament of tournaments. Champions of champions came out for this. Only players who had top 8'd in RBET or better were able to participate in this tournament. And let me tell you, it was stacked. It was so incredibly stacked. Every single player in this tournament was either an RBET winner, an Ultimate Time Wizard winner, or both, or that some level of crazy good. Watching these players compete was literally my Christmas come early. You can even see this bracket here. It's unbelievable. But in order to be the best of the best, you had to climb to the top of this incredibly stacked tournament, and only 8 players could make it to top 8. So we're going to be featuring their top 8 deck lists here today. Honestly, shout out to everyone who participated in RBET this season. If you would like to participate in RBET next season, the first tournament is going to be RBET Los Angeles, February 15th and 16th at Collectors Expo. You guys can find signups for that in the description below. Signups are going very, very quickly. You don't want to miss this. And honestly, it's going to be a banger event. Entry to the tournament gets you entry to the expo completely. There's going to be voice actors from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime there, Dan Green, Eric Stewart, super exciting stuff. There's going to be mats from Yggdrasil, you know the works. It's going to be such a sick tournament, you do not want to miss it. All right, let's get into the top 8 deck lists. That's why you guys are here. 8th place, or 7th place, because it's double elimination. There's 2 7th places. We got yugioh, 80807, very powerful duelist with Diva Hero Zombie. This is a deck that was popularized by a couple of different players, notably Jake XO and Silchus Ruin. These two guys have had the most tournament success with this deck, but yugioh also has had some tournament success with this deck, hence he was able to play in RBET Rulers, and he made it all the way to top 8 with this really powerful looking list. He's got triple turtle, no mystic tomato, so opting for the maximum number of zombies. I wonder why he did that as opposed to playing the tomato as a way to get into malicious. Kind of curious. I'd be interested in asking him that. The one main deck Trapstone, there was a lot of ways to interact with chainable trap cards. There were a lot of interesting tech cards used in RBET Rulers because anything to gain an edge over the top players is going to be necessary. At a certain point, you got to stop relying on conventional cards. You got to start using your techs, your powerful options, and Trapstone was definitely a favorite for a lot of people who played this weekend. There's a DD Assailant in the sideboard for the Blackwing matchup, even cited Zombie World, so Zombie World making an appearance in the top 8 of RBET Rulers, which is crazy. Triple Diva in the main, this works with the Miracle Fusions and the Future Fusion. Double Miracle Fusion in the main as well. Very tight extra deck with the double Absolute Zero Gaia and Chimera Tech, taking up 4 of your crucial synchro slots. So a very well packaged deck. That's how I would call this. I would say it's very well packaged. I do like the Evil Guy, Stratos Double Malicious. I think that's solid. And playing the one Greffer makes Rhoda incredibly powerful, as you can have Greffer plus Stratos starts with the Malicious into Diva Hero plays, or not Diva Hero, Deep Sea Diva plays, which obviously make this deck very powerful. The one of Necrogarna is another tech that a lot of players have been putting into a ton of different decks, and it earned a lot of players their invite as well. So seeing Necrogarna pop up here and there in deck lists moving forward, whether that's Amaryllis decks, zombie decks, quick draw decks, whatever, Necrogarna is kind of like the only grave trap, quote unquote, in Edison that isn't like Shiny Black Sea or whatever. And Necrogarna will probably continue to show up in more and more deck lists just because it gives you that extra layer of interaction. There's a lot of setups with Necrogarna in this deck, whether it's Bryonic plus Necrogarna that can be very difficult to deal with, or it's Zombie Master Pitch Necrogarna, just bring out a guy. There's a lot of setups with it, but yeah, I need not say less. There's also one main deck skill drain in this deck. So like I said, a lot of tech cards to try and give yourself the edge in the scary player matchup, basically. Just a lot of like surprise tech cards that may work here and there. Even side decking Consecrated Light in a deck that's super heavy on darks. Just a lot of ways to try and surprise the opponent and steal wins here and there. Very impressive stuff from yugioh, and congratulations on making it to 7th place. With a deck that has been kind of, I don't want to say struggling this season, but it has not had the results it's had in previous seasons. I mean, very few top 8s for Diva Hero Zombies and Diva Hero in general this season. So seeing it go all the way to top 8 in the best of the best tournament is pretty hype. All right, next 7th place deck list is Samu with Blackwings. Triple Legacy of Yatagrasu. That's been kind of the story of Blackwings this entire format, is how much Legacy of Yatagrasu Jarvgreed can you fit into it. We had HT19 make first place at RBET LA with 6 copies of the draw traps, and I think that honestly has set the standard for like what Blackwings needs to do to gain an edge on certain competition, especially against the best players. I think the draw traps really, really shine when you're playing against more experienced players, because every single little trick, every single +1 you can get on them, it adds up to an insurmountable advantage. When you have good player versus good player, all you need is this little advantage to really spark what it takes to take over a game, basically. Opted to play double copies of Vayu in the main deck. Very interesting choice. Just the best 6 spell cards. No Mind Control in the main or side is very interesting. I think Mind Control is one of the best cards in this deck, so curious to see why he didn't play it. And he main decked that 1 copy of Deck Devastation Virus, which also was a big fear for a lot of players moving into this event. And while people were playing Deck Devastation Virus, it wasn't like super main deck heavy. I think the best players tested it, and they tested playing like these heavy virus builds, and they found that they just weren't consistent enough against the good players to main deck more than 1 copy here and there, if possible, or if at all, basically. Yeah, so main deck Gores, a way to get the edge against good players, of course. Double D-Prison, double Bottomless, so maximizing those removal spells. Mirror Force and Torrential, but no Solemn anywhere to be seen, which is kind of wild. Solemn in the mirror match against Blackwings oftentimes does end up feeling like a 4,000 life point trap hole, but Solemn can be crucial in some cases, negating an Icarus attack or something like that. I don't say I disagree with his decision to cut Solemn entirely. I know a couple of players have had similar success with that, but it's just very curious. It's very curious. That's how I would describe it. The deck looks great. Blackwings is a great deck. It's a top tier deck for a reason. And honestly, congratulations to Samu. He's been an Edison format head for a very long time. Played in some of the very first tournaments, so it's no surprise to me that he is having success here with his high level of experience in this tournament. The sideboard looks pretty straightforward. I do like the 2 copies of Pulling the Rug, and I do like the sideboard Trapstun. Players like Juan Swagger have had success with main deck Trapstun and Blackwings, and I believe Raikoko also has had main deck Trapstun success to some degree, if I'm not mistaken. So seeing it in the side deck, once again, just one of those cards that can really give you the edge in the mirror. Sometimes it's like Solemn Judgment where you don't have to pay 4,000, or it's like an extra copy of Heavy Storm. I do expect to see more and more Trapstun moving forward as a way to just fight against these chainable traps, these Legacy of Yadas, or as a way to just fight against multiple back row without really having to commit to spot removal spells, potentially getting you disadvantage in things like Legacy of Yatagarasu. Things like Dust Tornado, I think, fall short in a lot of categories where Trapstun does not. So, yeah, expect to see a lot more of Trapstun moving forward. Overall, great stuff to Samu. Congratulations on making top 8 at RBET Rulers this year. Moving on to 5th place, we got Avalanche. So, Avalanche hot off of his top 8 at the most recent RBET of the season. With Vayu Turbo, looks like he ran it back. 41 cards, really interesting decision to include the second virus as his 41st card. Again, no Solemn Judgment, except it is in the side here. Just a very interesting list. Triple Kaias, Chaos Sorcerer as well in the main. Maximizing that type of effect, I think that's pretty smart. I think that's pretty strong, especially if you're playing Return from the Different Dimension. You need a lot of ways to convert off of those extra bodies you get here and there. Double Hamster and Charge, so maximizing his milling. I think that's smart as well. And you got to just see Raikou as much as possible with Chaos Sorcerer in the deck. Man, just a great looking deck list here. Just very solid stuff. The highest placing Vayu Turbo at this tournament. And yeah, Double Vortex in the side. Clearly was anticipating Amaryllis, because Amaryllis is this deck's hardest matchup. For sure. For sure, Amaryllis is this deck's hardest matchup. And so went up to 2 Lightning Vortex in the side, but alas, it was not enough. Avalanche found himself eliminated again by the same Amaryllis player who eliminated him in the last RBET. So, yeah, 2 Vortex, while good, still just isn't enough to shore up that horrible, horrible matchup, and we'll get into that here in a second. Next, 5th place list. Congratulations to Avalanche for being the highest placing Vayu Turbo in this tournament. That's something to be proud of. I mean, the best of the best Vayu Turbo players, Avalanche right now, so top 8 in RBET, top 8 RBET Rulers, like just very, very solid stuff. Moving on. Next, fifth place deck list is Ludvico. Oh my gosh, this player is crazy. Ludvico is one of the best Edison players in the world, hands down. He top eights almost everything he enters, if not wins everything he enters. And he does it with a wide variety of decks. He decided to get fifth place in this tournament with Lightsworn, pure Lightsworn, double Gold Sark, 5 main deck trap cards, main deck Monster Reincarnation and Beckoning, all the mix-ups. He's got the Hamster. The deck list just looks like it's got all the techs. It's totally tricked out. It's got everything you need for any possible situation. I do like double Celestia. I do like triple Wolf, maximizing your good stuff. And honestly, just playing all the broken one-of trap cards that get played in this deck, besides Solemn, as a way to just get the edge versus good players. I honestly think at a certain point, you got to be like, all right, I got to play all of the broken cards. And what deck is better to play all the broken cards in than specifically Lightsworn? JD is incredible into the metagame right now. It's really good at punishing people who are trying to shotgun DDVs against you. It's really good against Vayu Turbo. It's really good against Blackwings. And it's really good against Frogs. There really isn't a boss monster that is incredible against all three of those decks outside of JD in that fashion. I mean, there's one or two, but JD is one of the best cards against all three of the most popular decks. And it worked out really, really well for Ludvico here, placing all the way in top 8, the best RBET rulers. A lot of cool stuff here. He's got triple Consecrated Light inside. He's actually siding the Chaos Sorcerer to bring in when he brings in the extra darks. I like this. I've done this myself personally several times on the channel. I've done it in Fairies. I've done it in Christia Sworn, and looks like Ludvico's doing it here in Pure Light Sworn. Triple DD Crow, Kaiku, and Soul Release, so 5 copies of Graveyard Hate. This is something that my friend Jacob put me onto. He said basically in this format, you need at least 5 ways to attack the graveyard, and they need to be varied. Otherwise, your opponent will play around 1, you know what I mean? And you won't be able to affect them effectively. So playing all 3 of the most common pieces of Graveyard Hate forces opponent not to play around 1 or to play around the other. It really just punishes them for playing into one or the other. And it just gives you the most diversity against some of the scarier strategies in the format that this deck may struggle with. Like Vayu Turbo sometimes can outpace you if you don't have like the graveyard interaction, or things like Frogs can get annoying if they have Treeborn Frog recurring and giving you issues that way, or decks that are trying to spam Miracle Fusion can be a real pain in the ass for this deck. So yeah, Ludvico playing the 5 copies of the Graveyard Hate. Obviously, Double Decree, Mind Control Vortex, and Space Typhoon, just the best 3 cards, honestly. 1 Cyber Dragon to help against Machina. Makes sense. Cyber Dragon also useful with Beckoning Light. You can reuse it that way. Just a strong starter to bait Bottomless as well in the Blackwing matchup, that sort of thing. Just a great deck list overall. Looks really, really solid from Ludvico here, and congratulations to him. I do like double Jane in the main as well. It's a very heads-up decision. I think Jane is one of the best positioned Lightsworn normal summons in the format right now. It attacks over Hamster, it attacks over Sirocco, it attacks over Shura, it attacks over all the Gladiator Beasts if you face off against that. It clears stuff like Thunder King, which people may side against you. It clears stuff like Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, which people may side against you. So just a really solidly statted monster, and the fact that it mills on its own on top of that is also very, very useful. So yeah, great stuff to Ludvico. I love the deck list, and congratulations to making top 8. Honestly, anyone in this tournament could have made top 8, and I would have said, damn, they're incredible, but Ludvico is really a cut above the rest, and he proved it here by making top 8 with Lightsworn. All right, getting into top 4, this is where stuff gets real. We've got Keza Pons hot off of his top 8 in RBET with this exact same deck, decided to run it back, Theft Amaryllis, and this year has really been the year for Amaryllis. There hasn't been a top 4 or finals without Amaryllis this entire year. I think the only thing we are missing from calling this deck a tier 1, solid tier 1 deck is a win. Honestly, the second Amaryllis wins a major event, it's gonna be over. It's gonna be Jover for the other decks. I mean, Amaryllis is a top tier deck in my opinion. I have consistently rated it amongst the top 5 in my tier list videos, and I think that this is no exception. I mean, this list is wild. Triple Cyber Valley, no hidden armory. There's a million different ways you can play this deck. Deciding to lean into the powerful Return from the Different Dimension definitely paid off for Keza. This is a list that was popularized by Nosuck Gaming, who has a YouTube channel. You can check out his explanations on these different tech choices, that sort of thing. He made top 8 at an Ultimate Time Wizard with Amaryllis Heroes, which was very interesting. And then he went on to say that this is one of the better ways you can play the deck. And I'm inclined to agree. This list definitely has some points that make it a little bit slightly more consistent, more powerful than the rest. Not only do you have Cyber Valley making your deck more consistent, churning you through things, taking full advantage of your steel spells like Mind Control, Mark of the Rose, but you're also not restricting your normal summon as much without the Hidden Armory. And I do love Hidden Armory in this deck, and several lists with Hidden Armory have made it to second place even recently. I mean, Dad 100 got second place at the last RBET with Hidden Armory in his Quick Draw Amaryllis list. So there's just a million different ways you can play Amaryllis, and fucking all of them are good. I'm gonna be honest, they're all good. But Keza was the one to take it to the top, the peak, the absolute closest you can get to the best of the best at RBET Rulers this year. So congratulations to Keza. Keza did have to win a very difficult Amaryllis mirror match versus the True Party King to make it into this top 8. So that was pretty hype. And yeah, just a lot of great tech choices here. The Trap Stuns in the sideboard. Once again, Trap Stun just being one of those cards that really, really helps against the best of the best. It's a card that just puts in a shitload of work. Double Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, that won Keza's top 8 match, putting Keza into top 4 up against Avalanche. The Kaiku's absolutely obliterating Vayu Turbo. And yeah, playing the varied Graveyard Hate here, the 1 Crow, the 1 Soul Release, the double Kaikus, and the double Karma Cut. This card also doubles as Graveyard Hate as well if you can target something in play that also has names in the graveyard, something like Treeborn Frog, something like Amaryllis Cluster, something like Dandelion even. It can banish multiple cards, not just one on play, but one in the graveyard as well, and that goes a really, really long way in punishing a lot of strategies. I do think that the Return from the Different Dimension is a huge upside to playing this deck over DDR. Return won Keza a solid number of games on camera while they were playing their matches, basically. I think it was it looked clearly more powerful than than DDR in several instances. And yeah, man, I don't know. I just think this list looks gas. I'm excited to try it myself. Do I think it's the best way to play Amaryllis? Maybe, maybe not, but it's the one that performed against the best players in the world. So there's something to be said about that. There's definitely something to be said about that. Crazy tech lineups, crazy everything. The side deck, no Cyber Dragon, no Chimera Tech, that sort of deal. But you know what? Great stuff to Keza. Congratulations. Top 4 back-to-back with Amaryllis. Top 4ing in RBET and then top 4ing RBET Rulers. Incredible stuff. Very, very well done. Congratulations to Keza. Moving on to third place. Third place, we had JJ94 with Machina. This looks very similar to the list that won the Ultimate Time Wizard at, I believe, 11-0 in Europe. It has triple Legacy of Yatagrasu and 1 main deck Karma Cut. I really do like the main deck Karma Cut. It shows up a lot of matchups like Frogs that are sometimes kind of a headache for Machina. Triple Machina Force, triple Avarice, just triple Hamster. Maxing out on everything. Just saying, fuck it. We're going to see the cards consistently, and whether they're good or bad, I'm going to see them consistently. And I'm not going to have to worry about things. I'm just going to see what I'm going to see consistently, and my deck is going to do its thing. One thing that I would like to see from these style of Machina decks moving forward is honestly limiter removal. There were a million situations that JJ got into where a limiter removal would have won the game, basically. I do think limiter removal is worth playing in these style of decks. I've said it since day one. I know a lot of people are on the fence about it. A lot of people say it's like a brick here or there, but I mean, there are plenty of other cards in here that could break just the same, and I do think that limiter removal gives you game in a lot of situations where you would otherwise be losing. So yeah, definitely would like to see more and more players try out that card moving forward, but I do like the Karma Cut tech. I do like the list a lot here from JJ, and honestly, I think this is the highest that this style of Machina deck has ever placed in an RBET. So congratulations to JJ to taking this deck to the absolute limit. Double side deck Needle Ceiling. Once again, the Frog matchup, very difficult for this deck. So opting to play the Needle Ceilings to repeatedly be able to clear that dupe block at Chainlink 2, make them miss timing, that sort of thing. And then just be able to continuously apply pressure with the Machina Fortress against Frogs. That is the way you're going to win the game, is be able to clear the dupe block. And there's just a billion ways to do that in the sideboard here. 2 Dyna, Vortex, double Compulsory, double Needle Ceiling. There's 7 ways to clear the dupe block here in the sideboard. So yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Honestly, side decking the Chaos Sorcerer, another way to clear the dupe block. And another card that came up for JJ, and seeing the side decked Chaos Sorcerer when people are siding 3 Crows is really interesting. And and just seeing it have results and crush is really cool, because it's something that like I myself have tested and had good results with, and it's just cool to see like an idea that you maybe like messed around with here and there have some success here in the best of the best tournament. Triple Legacy of Yugioh. Another story of this tournament was just like how much could you play Legacy of Yugioh without hurting the speed of your deck, and the best players in this tournament were able to absolutely maximize on that. And that brings me to our second place list, which is last year's RBET Ruler champion, this year RBET second place, and 2022 RBET top 8 player Dimitri, playing something that looks very similar to Hector's HD19's Blackwing list from RBET LA with the 6 draw traps. Now, honestly, I'm going to say it right now. I think Dimitri is the best player in Edison format. I'll just say it. He tops every tournament he enters. He's 3 back-to-back top 8s, including 2 finals at RBET Rulers, with a wide variety of decks. Every single tournament he's topped has been with a different deck. Just incredible player. Like, one of the best players in the game, if not the best player right now. Undisputed, I'd say. I think after 3 back-to-back RBET Ruler top 8s, after being in the top 8 against the best of the best 3 times in a row, I think you just can't say anything other than he's the best player in the game right now. I think that's like totally valid praise. Getting to the finalist position against the best players in the world with 2 different decks, I don't know what else I can say. I don't know what else I can say about Dimitri. He's the current GOAT right now. Until someone dethrones him, he is the current Edison format GOAT. Definitely one of the best players to ever touch the game. Absolutely incredible. And the deck list looks amazing. I do like the triple Blizzard change from Hector's list. Cutting Solemn Judgment, something he likes to do. He's playing Dark Illusion in the main. He himself has said he never enters tournaments without a little bit of spice, a little bit of tech, and it always pays off for him in crucial moments. Dark Illusion was able to win him his bracket reset match and got him a shot at winning this tournament in grand finals. So, yeah, his tech cards always work out really well for him. Having some sauce, having some surprise is honestly something that I think a lot of players should do more of. I think players should lean into their tech cards. If something is working for them in practice and it's a little bit unconventional, definitely bust it out for the tournament. Rely on your instincts and play the cards that work really, really well. And don't deviate from stuff that worked. I mean, the highest performing Blackwing list this season played 6 draw traps. So why not just play that? Why not lean into the build that has the most success? That's exactly what Dimitri has done here. Triple Jar, Triple Legacy, and it made a lot of sense. I think he had the most wins in this tournament due to the double elimination nature. The sideboard, very interesting. A lot of people are going to be questioning why Fissure. It's a way to clear Consecrated Light under Titanial, under Decree. It doesn't target, but it clears the lowest attack point monster, which is usually always going to be Consecrated Light. Thunder King Ryo, Card Trooper, great sideboard cards. They performed very, very over the top for him. We saw Card Trooper crashing into Aliases. We saw Card Trooper clearing Rykos at +1. We saw Card Trooper setting up the graveyard for Blizzards and for Dark Arm Dragons throughout the tournament. So just an incredible sideboard choice here from Dimitri. Opting to side 0 copies of Grave Hate besides the Transmigration Prophecy is very interesting as well. That's something I'm curious about. No main deck Devastation Virus. Only 1 in the side. So yeah, once again, the card totally kind of high variance, I would say. I would say Deck Devastation Virus is high variance, especially at the top level. A lot of the players opted not to play it. I mean, looking at some of the other lists from this tournament, a lot of players were playing 1 or even 0 Deck Devastation Virus. So the fear of Deck Devastation Virus, sometimes a little bit overblown because of how bad it can feel to lose to the card. But yeah, definitely not a choice here at the top of the top. People who are playing at this level are opting for things like Torrential Tribute, things that are more consistently going to get them wins, instead of these high roll kind of gambly cards like Deck Devastation Virus. Double Pulling the Rug, once again, Double Oppression, makes sense. The best cards that this deck gets access to that not every deck gets to play. 1 Dust Tornado, yeah, just saying fuck it. I'm going to draw into my Heavy and my Space Typhoon because I have 6 draw traps, and Icarus and Dark Illusion do a pretty good job of allowing you to play into back row as it stands. So great stuff to Dimitri. Honestly, congratulations to him. Very awesome guy. I had a chance to meet him this year at RBET Maryland. And I have nothing but nice things to say about him. I'm honestly very proud of him, and seeing him three-peat at RBET Rulers is like really fucking hype. I'm gonna be honest, it's just really, really, really fucking hype. And to see him do it with 3 different decks is also really fucking hype. So congratulations to Dimitri, but but he didn't make it to first place. That's all I'll say. He didn't make it to first place. Sunny did. Sunny After Dark with this very innovative Hero Frog deck list. Love this stuff. Love this stuff. Congratulations to Sunny. Had a hell of a bracket to make it to first place. Had to literally face off against the GOAT multiple times in order to make it to first place in this tournament. The GOAT, who is also his teammate, his testing partner, Dimitri. It's always sick to see two players who grind together and who test together make it to the finals. They even knew nuances about their playstyle and nuances about their deck lists in the finals, and it was cool seeing them chat and like have friendly banter in the finals of the functional Edison World Championship. It was so hype. It was really, really cool to see two friends who have come together because of this game. I honestly think Dimitri and Sunny, I don't think they would have known each other if it wasn't for E3 Yu-Gi-Oh! And RBET and Edison format. So to see them have like this like friendly back and forth in the finals of like the most high stakes, most intense tournament of the year, and to see these two guys who like otherwise wouldn't have had this relationship kind of like have this moment of like yo, we're homies type shit. They live on other sides of the world. I mean, Dimitri lives in, I don't fucking know, Kentucky or some shit, and I think Sunny lives in China. Like, to see these players like who otherwise would not have known each other, these guys who otherwise would not have this friendship, like have this friendship in the World Championship Finals. It was heartwarming. I don't know how to say it. It was really, really special. It was really, really cool. And honestly can't think of a more deserving player to win this tournament than Sunny. Sunny's done a shitload for this game. He is a multi-format champion. He is, I believe, the winner of RBCT, the really big charity tournament, and that's how he got his invite. And he's been a big proponent for this Hero Frog deck ever since Roundup and Cameron invented it. So, yeah, I do think that Sunny was playing his A game. He was playing a deck he was comfortable with. He had the right techs, Threatening Roar, a functional turn skip at high level. People who are playing at the high level aren't going to commit to the field until, they have a game shot ready. And so oftentimes they'll wait, they'll go for their Heavy Storm. They'll be like, all right, I'm going to do this. They're going to sandbag all their resources. They'll go Heavy Storm. Or they'll like commit into the background and say, I can play through one spot removal. I can play through one discard trap. They'll play like 6 threats out and they'll be like, all right, I'm going to win the game this turn. And you just flip Threatening Roar and skip their entire turn. And then on your turn, you do something like Miracle into Absolute Zero, wipe their whole board. Yeah, it clearly worked out for Sunny here. And it was a huge edge against the top players. It was a huge edge to have these 2 Threatening Roars. Watching him use them as functional Time Walks. For those of you who don't know what Time Walk does, it's a card that just says take an extra turn in Magic the Gathering. Threatening Roar acted as that for him, as well as the 2 Battle Faders. I think that being able to play these Time Walks, these turn skips in Frogs is crucial. I think that you can't really expect to play a deck that is so reliant on its normal summon. I mean so reliant. Like, look at the vast number of normal summons in this deck. There are, what is this? The top row, there's 10. The next row, there's 7. And then the next row, there's 5. So 22 normal summons in this deck. 22. And if you count Rhoda and Ecol, 24. There's 24 normal summons in this deck. You need time to be able to deploy all of those powerful normal summons. And what is the best way to gain time? Well, Threatening Roar as a way to take advantage of giving yourself extra turns, just so you're not getting your shit pushed in by faster decks. Battle Fader, Gores, etc. Maximizing those types of cards to make sure you have the time necessary to deploy your 24 powerful normal summons. Yeah, great stuff from Sunny. I love this deck. I think it's very well designed. I do like 2 Junk Synchron. When I play against this deck, the card that beats my ass the most is definitely Junk Synchron. It's not Miracle Fusion. It's not the Monarchs. Sometimes it's Ryza, low-key, but it is definitely Junk Synchron. So opting to go up to the second one, this is a card that Sunny has made a video on in the past. Very, very in-depth video on. And I do want to touch on something here. Sunny made some of the best Edison format videos of all time. Like, in my opinion, Sunny was the only Edison or Yu-Gi-Oh content creator who every time he posted, I would watch his videos every single time. And Sunny encountered a lot of hate on the internet. And just like as a PSA, like when you're typing a comment on someone's channel, when you're saying something mean or something like hateful or something like that, just understand that there's someone on the other end. There's someone on the other end of that. And as a result of this, Sunny had stopped playing Edison format for a while and honestly taken down all of his videos as a result of people saying mean shit. And I think that that's really fucked up. And I know no one in this community would say anything mean to Sonny. I know no one in this community. So this is probably just falling on deaf ears. But just like, if you're about to type a mean comment or say some hateful shit like online, just realize that there's a human being on the other end, and you could be affecting them. And it's really, really sad to me that those videos got taken down, because I was looking for them the other day. I was like trying to rewatch some of Sonny's videos, and I was like, why the fuck can't I find this? And so it makes me a little bit sad that those got taken down. And I hope Sonny, maybe puts them back up or something like that after this historic first place at RBET Rulers with his beautiful, beautiful junk Hero Frog deck list. And yeah, I would be very, very excited to watch some of those videos again. Like I said, he was the only content creator who I looked forward to every post. He puts a lot of thought, a lot of effort into his videos. He was one of the most articulate posters, one of the most intelligent posters. And the fact that he incurred some hate from, like, I don't know, some modern Yu-Gi-Oh players or some shit like that just really sucks. It really sucks. It breaks my heart to hear that. So yeah, I hope Sonny makes a video or two after this, or at least re-upload some of his Edison videos, because I think they were some of the best in the game, especially when talking about this deck. And clearly, he's the best of the best right now. He's the first place world champion. As of right now, he is your RBET ruler. This is Sonny After Dark, one of the best players in the world, and the best player as of right now. The top of the top, he had to beat the literal GOAT, the 3-time RBET ruler topper, the previous RBET champion in a finals, and his friend. He had to beat his friend in a match, and he was able to do that. He was able to do that in the bracket reset. So one of the most hyped finals, one of the most amazing storylines in Edison format as of right now, and one of the most amazing tournaments. I think that this is like, just goes to show how incredibly far this game has come in the last 3 years, and how beautiful this community is as a place for people to come and compete. As I'm kind of at a loss for words. This is crazy. I mean, it's just like, it's just really, really beautiful. I like never could have expected this to be as cool as it is, and it's really fucking cool because of these players, because of all the people who participate in this event, and because of all these guys who come together and do this stuff. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to you guys for being a part of this. It's really fucking sick. I'll see you guys in the next vid. Peace.